Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Bragging About Cinema. Before I start my review, I want to thank you all for those that reached out and touched that subscribe button. I recently went over the triple-digit mark. That's right, over 100 subscribers. And I can't thank anyone enough that took the time to watch a video that I created. And hopefully you found a movie or TV show that you had never heard of or were unsure about, watched it, and absolutely loved it because of the review. So today's review is a fun one. Today we're going to review Amazon's Lord of the Rings, The Ring of Power. Now, a little background on my Lord of the Rings fandom. When I was under a teenager, I went to the library and I got these audiobooks. And my very first audiobook was Lord of the Rings. It took me all summer to get through the trilogy. And I absolutely fell in love. And then, of course, when the movies came out in the early 2000s, that was must-see cinema. That was kind of like a Marvel movie where everyone had to go to, except for even bigger than Marvel movies. So I was a little hesitant when I heard they were going to come out with kind of a spin-off. And judging by the viewership numbers, it looked like this was quite popular. Now, what I didn't know from watching the trailer, that this was really a prequel, because we have Galadriel and Elrond, who were in the movies, if you remember, and they're in their younger stages. They're trying to find Saruman, as people kind of think he's dead. This began with a war that I guess I wasn't familiar with. I have not read the books, and I have not read any of Tolkien's other writings in this universe, so I don't know the prequel history to Lord of the Rings, other than, of course, The Hobbit. So I was pleasantly surprised at how much I liked this. Now, why did I like it? What makes an epic fantasy series great? Is it different kinds of characters like elves and magic? Is it the swords? Is it the scope? I think it's actually the music. I thought where this hit the mark to make it from a decent fantasy to a potentially epic fantasy was some of the sweeping music that was used in the background of all the scenes, and it really separated each character with the kind of music they used. Galadriel was kind of the star of the show for the first one, although just like in Lord of the Rings style, we met all kinds of different characters. She is on a revenge tour trying to find the killer of her brother, and it was neat because she didn't finish the job, and we saw the elves kind of go off into elf. I always thought it was like elf heaven. That's what I thought it was in the movies. And she decided she wasn't ready to go to heaven when everybody else was. And we see her jump in the sea, and this is where we meet all kinds of crazy characters, some giant sea monster. Now, Elrond, he was actually more encouraging of her to go off to this elf heaven, and he is also going to make sure that Saruman isn't actually around. And now we know how this all ends. We know he's there at the end when they kill, or think they kill him. They think they kill him again, but it's great to see how that story unfolded. And I would say the Hobbit movies were like a notch below Lord of the Rings, kind of like Star Wars prequels are a notch below the original Star Wars. That's how I felt about the Hobbit, although I still enjoyed it. So the show, so far with 2 episodes, I think this is a great, amazing show. And now I have Game of Thrones on Sundays and Amazon Lord of the Rings on Fridays. So my fantasy, ancient medieval storytelling right now, my cup is full and I love it. We covered the characters we're more familiar with. Now there is a ton of new characters we are not familiar with. We meet up with these hobbit-like creatures. I'm not exactly sure what they were called. I kind of heard it real quick. Quick search, I didn't see it. And they are just like hobbits in that they like to be anonymous. They like to keep a low profile. And they get this meteor man out of the sky. And I don't know exactly what he is. He has magic when he wakes up. He looks like a man. He's taller than the hobbit-like creatures. He is very interesting because he was inside of a meteorite. And he seems to be very powerful. So I'm curious. My first thought was maybe that's Gandalf or just another wizard. We don't really know. It kind of left us on a little cliffhanger. Now, there was also these elves that were watching over a town near where the battle was. And we see these, the elves are actually disbanded because people believe Saruman is dead. And of course, as soon as they say that, the evil starts creeping back. Now, they got these crazy creatures coming up from underneath the ground to snatch others. And we got a rogue elf going on and trying to figure out what is going on because the darkness is not gone, that's for sure. Now, if you are a fantasy lover, I can't see how you don't like this show. We do have a lot of great offerings right now on streaming services. Just for reference, I'm actually watching The Witcher Season 2. I didn't end up finishing it a while back and kind of forgot about it. So I'm in full fantasy mode right now. And I'm not talking about fantasy football. So I think you would love it if you're a fantasy person. If you are strict Lord of the Rings book reader, I'm not sure if what liberties they're taking. Maybe that's where you're gonna have a difficult time. As far as visually, I thought it was a visually stunning look. One of my complaints for Wheel of Time was I thought it was borderline how good that one looked. But I think this one looks better than that. If you're not a fantasy person, then obviously this show might not be for you. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to give this one an A+. I was exhausted from work all week, but we managed to watch the first 2 episodes Friday night, and it kept me awake. So that's always a good indicator for me. If something keeps me awake, it's got to be at least decent. When I was done, I was like, this is awesome. This is almost like Game of Thrones for a family. Now, I know I'm a little late for this review. If you could comment below, let me know what you think. Did this live up to the hype? Is this not fitting into your style of what Lord of the Rings should look like? I'm curious. I love talking about these shows, and I try to answer any comments as quick as possible. And if you're going to comment, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and you can be part of my journey all the way to 1,000 subscribers. Because the good news is, if you're a new watcher, an old watcher, everyone agrees that when they watch my videos, they find something to brag about.